pamoja na tukue pamoja kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
Well, hello there. This is Farm Kenya show right here on KTN. Today we are in Kiambu County at Githongori Premium Breeds, and today we'll be looking at the process. Remember, every Tuesday we look at the process from the farm to the plate. We'll be looking at how you take care of your dairy animals. Of course, that is cows. We'll be looking at how to milk it later on in the show. We'll be meeting with a young person who is in this particular type of agri-business. My name is Kelvin Yakundi. Let's take it right away. So thank you so much for joining us.
Yes.
Just give us a little bit of history of how this particular farm started.
Okay, this farm was started by my parents, and at that time I was very young. So I grew up on already made capital.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go even to the number of cows, because I see you have very many cows around this area. So what number do you have at the moment? And you can also give us a little bit of the breeds that are involved in this farm.
Okay, we have close to 100 cows, let's say from 90 to 100 cows. And we have different breeds. That is, we have Gansi, we have Asia, and we have Greckview. Yeah, so we have calves, we have bulls, and we also have dry.
Okay.
Yeah, and in calves.
All right. The categories that you've mentioned, the bulls that you've said, do they also share the same shed with the others, or they've been separated?
Not really. So we have separated them such that we have at this one they are in calves, the other ones we have the dries, and those ones they are milkers.
Okay.
Now the bulls.
Okay. The farm, it's very clean. When we were coming in, we were asking ourselves, hey, is this really a cow shed, you know? So what goes into managing this area, especially usafisha, making sure that waste inakuwa cleaned? Like, how do you do it? Because it's very clean. Yes.
So we have workers. So we have divided the workers. Like there are workers who do the cleaning, there are workers who do the milking, there are workers who go and get the napier grass. Yeah, that is how we divide. We just divide duties.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll come to milking.
It's
but
okay.
First of all, let us look at how you make sure, how long is it cleaned? Like, is it every morning and evening, or you have a scheduled time? How does it look?
The farm must be neat in the first place. So we do it in the morning, in the midday, and in the evening. That is.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's move to milking. You said 90 to close to 100, right?
Yeah.
So how much do you collect in a day in terms of liters, and where do you usually source your milk to?
Okay. So in one day we milk 600 liters. So that is per cow. Now we milk 37 to 40 liters. That is asubuhi 14 liters, midday 14 liters, na jioni 8 liters. Yeah.
And you are a young person. You know, you say these things and then I'm wondering, wow. So what really inspired you to even get into this particular type of farming?
Okay. So as many people, especially the Gen Zs, think that this thing is not interesting. Maybe it's boring. Yeah, maybe they can't touch the cow dung and the napier grass and whatever. So I feel like I was just inspired by my parents, seeing the profits that they were making. That is what really inspired me. Yeah.
And now, speaking of profits, because you've mentioned profits, let us look at, you've said 600 liters. What does that bring in at the end of the day in terms of monetary value, the 600 liters, and also in a month? What are we looking at? If someone is seated at home saying, okay, I'm a young person and I would want to get into that. Yes. So just give us what the 600 liters bring in, and also what are we looking at in terms of a month?
Okay.
Yes.
In one month, we are able to make, the profits are 700,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
And 700,000. Now let us also look at a month. What are we looking? Oh, that is
That
a
is
month.
a month.
And 600 liters per day. How much? How much does that translate to? Yes, ukiwa everything.
Maybe 70, 60.
Thousand.
Yes.
Okay.
In one day.
All right.
Yeah.
So, when it comes to the workers that you have in this particular cow shed or the farm, the ones that especially work in the cow shed, how many are they? And for someone, if someone would want to have such a structure, can you work with maybe two workers, or you need maybe 5? How many are they, and how regular do you make sure that at least they get to, because you've said 3 times a day, so are they cleaning all of them in the morning, in the afternoon, and in the evening?
So what we've done, we have divided the task. So we have 2 workers who ensure that cleaning is done effectively. So you need to clean the floors, you need to clean the equipment, and we also have 5 workers that ensure that milking is done. We also have 4 workers that ensure that feeding is done effectively. Yes.
And when it comes to the milking process, because you have close to 100, are we looking at machines helping to milk, or you use just the normal hand?
We use hand.
What inspired that?
Okay. At times, machines, they don't clear the milk, so the milk ina clog kwa ada. So when ukitumia mkono, you clear the milk. So haitakuwa na magonjwa kama mastitis. Yeah.
Have you ever used the machines?
Yeah, we once used that, and then we discovered this is not working for us, and yes, we needed to change that. Yes.
All right, and let us look at in a year. Of course, we have 12 months, and there are different seasons of the year. The 600 liters that you collect per day, is there a day that maybe you will get less than 600, or there are times that you get more than 600? And just give us a breakdown of that. What happens?
We cannot approximate that because, as I said, they are in curves. So there are times that ng'ombe atazaa. So unaona the production will be high. Kuna saa zingine dry utazipea mbegu. So you can't really approximate that. Yes.
All right, so it depends with the time that you gave them the mbegu that you've said.
Yes.
And also, all right. Okay, so let's move on and look at the feeds that you use in this particular farm. So what feeds do you use, and how much of feed does this number of cows consume in a day? Yes.
Okay. We have different categories of feedings. So we have fodders, we have concentrate, and we have mineral salts. For the fodders, each cow is supposed to consume 35 kgs in one day, and concentrate is supposed to consume 8 kgs. The the mineral salts supposed to consume 300 grams. That is close to, not even close, that is 3 tablespoons. Yeah.
So because we have, over the years, feeds have always gone high. The price of feeds is not really very cheap. So when you want to maybe substitute the feeds, what do you usually substitute the feeds with? The ones that you had mentioned.
Napier grass and haze. Yeah.
All right. And now you mentioned fodder and also concentrates. Break this down for us, at least, so that at least we can understand what you're talking about.
Fodders are, okay, example of a fodder is napier grass and haze. Yeah. Concentrates are maize germ, dairy meal, those the one that you buy. Yeah.
And for the ones that you buy, the concentrates, when it comes to trying to make to get the ones that are with good nutrients, because many of these are usually filled with chemicals and everything else. So what do you go for in terms of the concentrates that you use? Is there a specific one that you use, or you just go to the shop and say, okay,
Give me one concentrate.
give me one concentrate? Yeah, so just give us a perspective of that.
So we normally use bran, maize germ, and dairy milk. Yeah.
What is it that is included in that is making you go for that and not any other?
The reason as to why I go for them, it is because they boost the production levels of the milk. Yeah.
All right. You've spoken about the production levels. The milk that you usually get from the cows, where do you source them? What are your markets? And where do you usually make sure that this milk goes? Or is it the neighbors around?
Not really.
Yes.
So we sell our milk at Fresher Company. That is where we source our milk. Yeah.
So when it comes to the market, how easy was it to go to the market and get, getting a client in the market to get your milk is not really easy. So if you have any idea, because you said that your parents are the ones who you got into this, but how was it getting to the market for you now to say, okay, we are going to Fresher?
Fresher is a company by itself. So what they do, they get the supplies from us farmers. No, we deliver the supplies to them to market the milk. Yeah.
So how was it getting to them? Did you source others, or it was just?
It was just me.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So why do you have the 3 types of breeds that you had mentioned earlier in the farm?
Okay, the reason as to why I chose the 3 breeds, it is because they boost the levels of production. That is the milk production. Yeah.
And the milk production, what is, so the way you said they boost the milk production, what is it that goes in the milk production? Like, is it the viscosity of the milk? Or is it, what is it? Because you're mixing the milk, right? So what value does it bring to the milk by mixing?
The milk has to be heavy. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
Because some of the breeds, they don't produce the same amount. Yeah, and when they are alone. Yeah.
All right. So let's move to and look at the napier grass that you have spoken about. Where do you source your napier grass? And do you have a quality of napier grass that you usually go for? And would you maybe at any time want to go for hay? Yes.
Okay. Where we get our napier grass from, we have farms. We have farms where we have grown our napier grass. Now we just go and harvest. For the hays, we buy the hays. Yeah.
All right. Okay. And also let's look at milk production in this area of yours. Would you say it's something that a farmer would get into and get good profit from?
If you're there and you're a young person and you're wondering utaanzia wapi, just start with what you have passion with what you're doing, and of course you'll see the fruits of what you're doing. You need to have passion, it have to come within yourself. Ni lazima upende kitu yenye unafanya, and you'll see that what you will be doing, it will be profitable to you. Yes.
All right, thank you so much for giving us your insights on what dairy farming looks like. All right, we're going to go for a short break, but don't go too far. We'll be back with the farm manager to give us what goes into dairy farming and how this particular farm takes care of its cows.
Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Farm Kenya.
This is the comfort of a mom's hug. Nahi ni Morph expands comfort that feels just like a mom's hug. Babies play around and then, oops, Morphix ina absorb like whoop. Imagine, haiwezi leak in 50 different movements. Makofi to both babies and Morphix. Renewed Morphix, ultimate quality.
I make Monday count by reading Health and Science. It helps me eat healthy, live healthy, and stay healthy.
Setting the standard every day of the week. The Standard, Kenya's bold newspaper.
We value your feedback and welcome your comments, queries, and complaints regarding our content. You can get in touch with us via SMS on 22151, call 0719 012 111 or 0732 142 000 or email feedback@standardmedia.co.ke. Our PO Box number is 30080-00100 Nairobi, or deliver to our offices at Standard Group Center, Mombasa Road, Nairobi.
Edward is really something. I get why he's so determined to turn the mansion into a bar. He wants to prove his worth to his parents.
What are you doing here?
I just really want to get a memorial plan for my daddy.
I can present some memorial plan packages to you over dinner.
Nice place.
Let's order. Waiter. Sir. Thank you. Order what you want.
My stomach really hurts.
Are you okay?
I'm fine. Hold on. Excuse me.
Edward, why are you here?
Edward's girlfriend is here. He even told her that he's with a real estate broker. And that's not you.
Kuwa mkono ambao unalima ardhi, mlango wa kulima, kuwa mshindi, kuwa na uhakika sasa, kukulea mustakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja, kuimarisha Kenya ni jukumu la Kenya.
All right, thank you so much for joining us. So give us a perspective of how the structure was decided and why this structure and not any other structure.
For this particular structure, the reason why it is like this, it is because of, first of all, ventilation. A dairy cow needs a lot of ventilation, as you can see. Secondly, because of space. Because at the area we are at Githunguri, Kiambu County. The area we are occupying here, it is just half an acre, of which our shed is sitting on 100 by 100 with a capacity of 110 cows. So we decided to put on a very big ventilation for all the animals to roof on. Secondly, to minimize space. Yes.
Okay.
Thirdly, we ensured that we had experts when we were making such a shed, so that we can have the right measurements for a bedding where the cow is sleeping. For instance, it should be 4 by 8, and in height it should be at least 10 feet. So we used our engineer experts to make our sheds. Then we had to make our floor very well, so that we make sure our animal do not slide. Our urine is extracted very well from our manure, so that we can collect manure as dry. So in a dairy construction, you need a very good expert. And then about landscaping, your engineer will tell you this is where we put the shed, this is how we will design it, and he will give you different designs. So me, I usually tell someone, come to someone who has a good shed. He connects you to a dairy, an engineer who can make you a very good dairy shed. Then from there you can come, we show you on how to get good breeds and move on as a farmer.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you for giving us those insights. And when you look at the material that has been used, of course, there's a reason behind the material that has been used.
Yes.
When you look at the iron sheets, there's ventilation as well. And the iron sheets, they are in, some are translucent,
Yes.
some are opaque.
Yes.
So what has gone behind that?
For this certain shed, we have roofed the whole shed. Well, the reason why we have put translucent roofs, it is because our animals still need sunshine and they still need warmth. That's why we have put a lot of translucent iron sheets. Secondly, it is because of the climate of where we are. We are along the equator, so the climate somehow gets cold, somehow gets hot. So because of those climatic changes, that's why we tend to put our shed like this, so that our animals can get full sunshine and they can get at least clean air and ventilation. Yes.
All right. Now let's move to cleaning of the cows.
Yes.
How often are your cows cleaned, and what goes into cleaning? Because you've said 110 cows.
Yes.
How do you clean them? What is the schedule, and how do you make sure that they are as clean as they are?
In such a farm, you need to fence your farm very well. First of all, to avoid any dogs to come inside, so that, for instance, dogs brings a lot of ticks, a lot of viborotos, you know them. So that's why we tend to put a perimeter wall. Secondly, if you have a perimeter wall like that one, your animals will not be often washed because there is no ticks coming inside, there is no flies and everything. So your cows will be washed according to, maybe a cow has a habit of sleeping at the front and maybe she gets that dirty. That's when you will clean that cow, because all the ticks and everything we have minimized. But if you don't have a perimeter, or maybe where you are located is along the Maasai places where animals are just loitering around even outside your farm, you need something we call a cattle dip. If you are not able to make a cattle dip, you need to buy a sprayer. There is a spray you buy from an agrovet. You spray your cows maybe once a Saturday or maybe once in a Sunday per week. Thirdly, if it is a very severe place with those insects, you need to be injecting your cows with Ivamec or Supermec, so that if any ticks that comes to your cow and sucks poison, it will just fall. So I advise on farmers, just make sure your farm is well fenced to avoid anything coming inside as dogs, or maybe anything to bring ticks and everything, because that's a very big challenge to a farmer. It can bring even diseases like foot and mouth and everything. So make sure your farm is well fenced.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. And of course, we are talking about, you've spoken about the ticks, and let us just go to the diseases. When it comes to the diseases, and if you've encountered diseases in this particular cow shed,
yes,
how did you take care of them?
Yes.
And often, what diseases are associated with dairy type of farming in any farm that is there?
We have, in dairy farming, as well as we have many advantages, we have one disadvantage called these diseases like mastitis. You can get foot and mouth. Those are most commonly seen in dairy farming, and they are the biggest challenges. Let me start with mastitis. Mastitis is brought by hygiene. If your milker, the person who milks your cow, does not milk to the last drop of the milk, that milk that is left in the udder will cause something that is called mastitis. Because once you left some milk, it will ferment. After fermenting, it will create a bacteria called mastitis. And your cow will be suffering from mastitis. So just imagine you have 10 cows suffering from mastitis, and each is treated with 2,500 per day. You will be costed, the whole of your milk will be going to the diseases. So you have to maintain hygiene. And hygiene, I mean you have to wash the udder very well from the back to the front, the whole udder. Secondly, make sure you milk to the last drop. That is how you will avoid mastitis. Thirdly, make sure your cow is not sleeping on a cow's mattress. I usually tell farmers, a cow mattress is good, but it has very many disadvantages, such as it makes a cow get mastitis. Once a cow sleeps on a mattress, if a cow urinates on a mattress, it does not absorb, so it remains wet. So if a cow comes instantly with, and the cow is a high yielder and sleeps on that mattress, it will absorb the bacteria from the teats because they are open, of course. If they press the udder and one droplet come out, of course it will mix with the urine and everything, and your cow will get mastitis. Secondly, a cow mattress has another disadvantage we call pneumonia, because it does not have any heat. It takes a lot of time for that cow to create heat, and for that cow to become comfortable, and for that cow now to start chewing cud and to make milk. So your cow will be having a lot of difficulties on production because of that cow mattress, and you have already fed your cow very well. About the diseases that are on the dairy farming, it is a disease that is major called foot and mouth. That disease comes with seasons. Like mainly when we are in August season here in Githunguri, we tend to have we tend to have that foot and mouth. Foot and mouth is a disease that affects cows on the foot, like a hoof. I don't know how I will tell it. swells and gets pus, so that cow cannot stand on it. Secondly, on mouth, the tongue, I don't know how it's inaroboka, inatokana yote, yani unaona inakaa red. The cow cannot feed on this feed, so you need to feed that cow like a baby mpaka ipone ianze kujisimamisha irudi wapi, and that's a very main disease. Then that's where I tell farmers, make sure you insure your cow. Your cow can be 250,000 and your insurance just costs 13,000 per year. So hiyo ng'ombe ikipata foot and mouth, hata ikikufa, at least hata kama hautalipwa yote, hautapotea sana. You can either buy a heifer ujirele, replace ng'ombe gani. So that's why naambia farmers, be very keen on insurance. Kuja uchukulie ng'ombe yako insurance just in case ugonjwa kama hiyo ikuje, ulikuwa na ng'ombe 20 wakufe ng'ombe 15. Unaona unaweza ruhusu sana. So make sure you have that insurance cover. Okay. Those are the two main diseases that kill farmers in Githunguri. Thirdly, on insect, you asked me on ticks. It depends on the area you are located, because like here in Githunguri we don't have the free range. Ati ng'ombe wanapita huku wakilishiwa huko nje. So ticks wako minimized sana juu hawatembezwi. Lakini ukienda Kajiado, ukienda na huku Sotik, ukienda Kericho, ukienda Kitare, watu wanalisha ng'ombe kwa barabara. Kumaanisha hii ng'ombe kama ilikuwa na ticks ipitia hapo, maybe iangushe, ng'ombe nyingine ichukue. Unaona hiyo tick inaendelea tu kugenerate. So tunaambiaga mtu, it depends on the area you are. Make sure kama uko kwa area iko na ticks, ng'ombe wa maziwa usimdunge dawa ya ticks, huyo unamspray ama unatengeneza tu cattle dip. It is not very much expensive. Huyo ng'ombe anaigizwa hapo once per week, zile insects zinaanguka and you continue very well. Lakini kwa heifers, kama uko na heifers wako na ticks na hawana mimba, how unaweza inject long acting Supermec. Hiyo inakaa kwa miezi kama 2 ama 3, ng'ombe yako ikiwa tu sawa, hailiwi na ticks. Ikiwa sio hivyo, make sure umefence. Hakuna kitu inaingia kwa farm yako ati mbwa nini inaleta hizo ticks. Yes.
On the types of breeds that you have, you've mixed 3 breeds. Earlier on, we were speaking, and I understand that this particular cow, the farm has 3 types of cows in the same space. Give us what that means for a dairy farmer, and why is it good to mix the 3 types that you have?
It's a very good question. It is good as a dairy farmer to have mixed breeds, but there are some farmers who specify on some cows because they want to attain such a goal, maybe like butter content, maybe like good yogurt and cheese and everything. But if you are there for productivity, as we are here for sale of milk. We mix our breeds such as pedigree Frisian, Asia, and maybe Frekve breed. Why? Because Holstein breed, it is the breed that has the most milk in all the breeds that we tend to have. or the breeds that are there in the world. Holstein breed is the breed that has a lot of milk. Secondly, there is a breed called Frisian. Frisian is on average, it does not produce so much as Holstein, and it is not a raw producer. It tends to give up to 35 liters per day, 30 liters, but the milk is not such watery. And then we have a breed called Asia, or Jersey, or Frekve. Those three breeds are specified on butter content. If you are there, you want to make cheese, you are there, you want to make butter, you are there, you want to make thick yogurt, you should take Jersey, you should take Asia, you should take Frekve. Now on these three breeds, the reason we mix them is because if you have 6 Holsteins, and maybe you have like another 6 Frisians, and maybe you have 1 Asia and 1 Frekve. This 1 Asia and 1 Frekve, because their milk content is very thick, it will qualify the milk for Frisian and Holstein. So if you have 10 Holstein and maybe 5 Frisians, the milk will at least gain quality. You understand? That's why we mix the breeds. And if you sell to direct consumers, they will not complain. But if you do not mix your breeds with Asia or Jersey or Frekve, your milk will be very light. They will be complaining you are adding some water on your milk. So that's why we recommend farmers, do not just take animals that have that high yield milk. It is okay, but your milk will not have good quality. Make sure you mix with Jersey, Asia, or Frekve, so that you can attain good density of butter in your milk. Yes.
All right. So let's come back to the structure. Of course, we have maintenance, and we have, as we were walking around, we were seeing the interesting type of water system that you have, the drinking water system.
Yes.
What went into that? Because it's very interesting. So just explain to us about that so that we may understand, and also you can give us how often does a cow need to take water in a day?
First of all, let me answer you with the last question you asked. A dairy cow takes up to 100 to 120 liters per day. And a dairy cow, water content, it is like 90%. Water contributes 90% to the productivity of milk. Secondly, a cow depends on scents and smell. That's why we innovated our cow's drinker to make sure our water is very, very fresh, so that we can motivate our cow to take more water, up to 120 liters. But if you have a trough, and your trough, you do not change that water daily, and it is being used by more than 5 cows. Cows have a lot of saliva. That saliva, if they drop that saliva on water for a whole day, of course, tomorrow morning, that water will be very stuffy. So if a cow that is producing 40 liters needs to drink at least 80 liters, it will just drink that liters, and it is not motivated to take more because of the stuffiness. As I have told you, your cow depends on taste and smell. The water does not taste well, and the smell is not motivating. So your cow will take less water, and of course, your cow will produce less. And consider that you have just fed her very well from your pocket. It will just be in vanity, because you will not get back the returns. So the reason why we have put on the cow's drinker, it is to make sure the water is very fresh, to make sure our cow is motivated to take more water. And even when we get into feeds, if you feed your cow today and you do not make sure that trough is cleaned by in the evening, and you feed fresh again, your cow will not take more, because I have told you your cow depends on taste and smell. If the taste of the food just tastes like the food, maybe if I give you the food I cooked yesterday and maybe it is fermented, even if you are so hungry, just take a small for just surviving, and it is enough. The same case happens to a cow. Yes. So when I tell you to make sure your feeds are very fresh every day, so that your cow can take more. And if it takes more, the production will be high, and the returns as well will be very fine.
All right.
Yes.
Okay, thank you for that. And the water that you use, where does it come from? Is it a borehole? Is it tapped water?
In our location where we are, we have a borehole that it is man-made, it is 100 feet. Then we have water we are depending from the county. It is not fully sufficient because sometimes it goes off, sometimes it comes back. That's why we have a borehole. And then we have harvested at least 30,000 liters. For maybe for the day we can have some challenge. Our cows will not go off water, because water is a very big challenge in production. Once the cow does not get water, it is very automatic. Even in production, you will not get anything. So water is a very big challenge. Make sure you have water, even if you will have to drill water, even if you have to call people to make you aware, make sure you have enough water. Yes.
All right. And now I saw some speakers around. Speakers, I believe that's for music,
yes,
if I'm not wrong.
Yes.
So what goes into that? What does that mean for a farmer to have speakers?
Yes.
Or inside the cow shed?
In here we have a music system. After milking, we will put some blues for the cows, or maybe country music, soothing music, when they are feeding. And you will notice they will be enjoying just by their tails. Their tails will just be like
they will be wagging their tails.
Yes, you understand, so that we can motivate our cow to take more. Then when they are sleeping like this, to help them meditate better. When a cow meditates, that cow chews cud very well, and that cow digests very well, and it will give you production. Because when the cow is resting, it is the time that cow it is making milk. So at that time, if you put a very soothing music for the cow, it might be better for that cow to meditate very well. But I usually tell farmers, it is not a must. But if you can, it is very much okay. Secondly, we have an advantage of that music, because in the morning hours, we are actually very busy. It is the time we are cleaning the shed, feeding and everything. And in this farm, we have more than 7 workers. So when it is silent like this, you can find one worker is talking from there with the other person on the other corner. But when there is some little noise, they struggle to shout, so they concentrate
on the work.
So it is another advantage.
Easy cows, they've been named,
yes,
differently. Tunaona Larry, there is one called Reddit,
kuna radio,
yes,
kuna
yes,
nini,
kuna black something. Yes. So what goes behind the naming?
In dairy farming, we have something we call records. Na ndio uweze kufuatilia record ya kila ng'ombe, tunamweka ear tag. Ear tag inaonyesha yeye anaitwa nani. Kama unatumia kompyuta, inakuonesha IDEX namba ya hiyo ng'ombe. Ndio ukienda ufinye tu hiyo namba, inakutolea history ya ng'ombe gani, alizaliwa na mama fulani, alizaliwa date fulani, ako how old, alipata begu lini. So ear tags zinakuja because of records.
Okay.
Secondly, on naming them, ng'ombe by the way ni kama, nitakwambia aje, ng'ombe zinaelewa majina. Ukikaa na ng'ombe sana, kuna ng'ombe yenye unaita inakuja automatically. Ama zikikamuliwa, you will notice hazipigani, zinajua ni gani next. Zinajuaga automatically, mimi nikimalizika ni mgani hurudi. So hii tags zinakuwa mzuri kwa kuidentify ng'ombe zako, unajua huyu anaitwa nani, huyu anaitwa nani, huyu anaitwa nani. Ndio unaendelea kukua at least na a better memory of your cows.
Okay.
Yes.
So tuonyeshe your measurement, the one that you are talking about.
As you see here, this is what we call a cow's bedding. Bedding ni mahali ng'ombe analala. Ng'ombe akilala hapa, tuna make sure kutoka hapa mpaka hapa it is 4 feet. Then kutoka hapa mpaka hapa it is 8 feet. Unaelewa? Kwa sababu ng'ombe mkubwa kama huyu, si unaona mahali ameurinate, it is very nice ameurinate hapo. Akiwa ameingia feet 8, haezi kojoa huku ndani, anakojoa hapa nje. That's why unaona hii sawdust yetu bado is still dry.
Yes.
Then inatuma huyu ng'ombe asipinduke, sasa angalie na kule, achafue wapi? Kule mbele. Secondly, kwa ng'ombe mdogo kama huyu, same case. Haezi pinduka achafue kule na haezi chafua ndani. Lakini akichafua ndani, for instance, tuseme amechafua ndani kama hapa.
Ndio karibu niulize that there.
Utakuja tu scoop na yenye ile kitu ya kufagia ianguke hapa chini. Ikishaanguka hapa chini, ile yenye ni wet, unaitoa, una make sure iko chini. Alafu unavuruta yenye ni dry kutoka mbele, unaleta mpaka nyuma. Yani unakaa kama una recycle hivyo.
Okay.
And then after maybe 3 weeks ndo unapata inapungua kiasi, unaongeza. Si unaelewa? Sasa inaendaga ukibadilisha aje.
Alafu even before uendelee.
Yes.
How does the cow know that ni hapa na si hapo? Juu nimeona zote zinasonga zinafika hapa, alafu ndio inakojoa hapa. Inajua aje?
Si ng'ombe inajua. Nimekuambia ni kitu tunaita right measurement. A good cow, ng'ombe ikiwa an adult cow, nimekuambia inafaa iishi kwa cubic ya feet 4 hivi na feet 8 kwenda mbele. Ndio kama ng'ombe wako ni mdogo, akipitisha sana atafika hapa, si ndio? Kwa hivyo akichafua hapa, itakuwa very simple for you to scoop it down na utoe yenye ni imekauka huku mbele, urotate. Yani hiyo ng'ombe itaralia bado kitanda yenye ni imekauka. Secondly, ng'ombe zinapenda mahali pako na joto. Unaona hata pia wewe unapenda kulalia godoro, upendi kulalia floor.
Yes.
Kwa hivyo ng'ombe ikilalia hapa ina feel very comfortable because kuna joto iko kwa hii sawdust. Secondly, hii sawdust ni mzuri sana kwa sababu ina absorb. Tuseme ng'ombe ni ya maziwa mingi, ijifinye ada, hizo droplet za maziwa zianguke kwa hii sawdust, ina absorb. Kwa hivyo hiyo ng'ombe haipati mastitis. Hiyo ng'ombe yako inakuwa secured sana kwa mastitis. Thirdly, kwa sababu ya hiyo joto yenye ng'ombe anapata kwa hii, ng'ombe wako hapati kitu tunaita pneumonia. Cases za pneumonia ziko chini sana. That's why we advise your bedding should be 4x8 kwa urefu kutoka hapa chini. Kama hautakuwa na roofing kama hii kubwa hivi, make sure it is at least 10 feet like here. Mahali unaona hiyo ukuta, ukiroof na 10 feet, kama hautaenda hivyo juu, unafaa hiyo ifike at least hapa, ipite tu na kama feet 1 kutoka kwa bedding. Ndio kama kuna mvua isiingie wapi? Isiingie ndani. Na kama ng'ombe amelala pale, hata kama kuna nyesha asinyeshewe. You understand, eh? So make sure your bedding is iko measured very well, 4x8. Ikienda chini sana iende 10 feet. Alafu tena hapa, ukiangalia hapa, there is a step. Hii step, si unaona hapa tumekoroga?
Yes.
Hata upande wa ndani tumekoroga. Sasa hii step ni ya kitu 9 inches. Inasaidia hii sawdust tumeweka hapa ndani isitoke nje, isiharibike sana. Kumaanisha hapa ndani tumejaza sawdust kutoka hapa chini mpaka hapa. Ndio ng'ombe hata kama ni mzito sana asipate kitu tunaitaga citric acid. Unapata magoti ya ng'ombe inafura sana kwa sababu ya kulalia ile direct flow.
Yes.
Juu ya hiyo uzito, unajua lazima inalalisha magoti kwanza inalala. Sasa inatumia a lot of strength. Hazigojeki magoti hii ikiwa hapo.
Okay.
Yes. I would like to say this is not where you start. Hii ni kitu na upgrade ukishapata faida kwa farming. Tulianzia na zizi ya mbao. But what matters in dairy farming sio chuma ama mbao. What matters ni measurement. Kwa sababu unaweza jenga na zizi ya chuma, uweke bedding kubwa sana ama uweke bedding kiasi sana, hazitakusaidia. Si unaelewa? Na unaweza jenga na mbao, uweke the right measurements, na ng'ombe zako zitakaa very comfortably. So kwa materials ya kujenga, use whatever you have. Usijifinyirie kununua chuma, na kwenye kuna miti mingi, bao ni mingi na nini. Make sure you have the right measurement. This is what you should depend on. Juu kama hata kama ni ambao na iko na measurement mzuri, ng'ombe italala wapi? Lakini ukijega na chuma na ukuwe na measurement baya, it will still disturb you.
Okay.
So on the material, use what you have. What you should ile kitu unafaa kuangalia sana ni mwenye anakujengea. Ajue the right measurement, ajue how to throw, because this throw bado inahitaji a lot of knowledge. Kwa sababu ukiangalia tumeislope kutoka pale ikafika hapa katikati. Tumeislope kutoka hapa ikakuja hapa, na kutoka pale mbele ukimwaga maji pale, hiyo maji haifai kukua stagnant hata kidogo. Inafaa kufika mwisho. Na ndivyo ifike mwisho. Usislope sana zizi yako, ndivyo ng'ombe yako unajua inaweza teleza. So it should be a very straight slope yenye inapeleka mkojo mpaka mwisho. Ndio uweze kuseparate. Kama ukiangalia hii ni samadi yenye imekauka, haina mkojo. Kwa ile mkojo hiyo ng'ombe alinini hapa ilipita, kwa hiyo hata si unaona penye inaenda. Sasa ndio unawezaka kucorrect mkojo kando na bolea kando, so that unaweza kuibeba hata kwa gari na nini. Lakini ikiwa na mkojo already, it is very disturbing. Labda ukuwe na containers za kuiweka na ubebe.
Okay.
So you need mtu mwenye anajua kuflow vizuri, kutengeneza a very good bedding, a very good walking area, troughs, na kudesignie vile ng'ombe wako watapata maji sufficient. Yes.
So, mkojo ya ng'ombe, yes. the urine of the cow, wakati it's harvested, so unajua ya sungura, it's harvested and used, it's very, very nutritious, right?
Of course.
So the one for the cow, where is it used? Is it used in the farm? What are the uses of that?
Okay. Urine ya ng'ombe sana sana tunasemaga ukiwa na farm, tuseme maybe hii ni farm na shamba yako iko nyuma ya farm, kama ya Napier, inafaa iende kwa Napier juu iko nutritious sana, ni kama tu bolea. Unaelewa? Lakini kama uko na pia biogas, inatumika tu kidogo juu unahitaji ile samadi ikiwa tu ile nyevu. But kama ni mahali huyuko mahali unaweza tumia hiyo urine, it is just waste.
Okay.
Tell them the truth. Hakuna mahali urine ya ng'ombe utauzia mtu. Hiyo unahitaji ujue vile utafanya very good drainage, isiharibikie wenye mmekaanisha na wao. Na kama sio hivyo, make sure uko na shamba nyuma yake, unaekea Napier, mahindi, sukuma wiki. It is very nice. But if you have biogas, it's still okay, because unajua biogas ukiweka manure inatoa gas na acid and everything. Ile manure umetoa pale, hata uweke mingi aje kwa sukuma haichomi. Ishatolewa ile ukali. Umeelewa? Sasa hapo inaweza kusaidia kama wewe ni mtu anatumia biogas. Juu pia hiyo biogas utapika nayo, unaweza light mataa, unaweza siaga nayo majani. Yes, but in terms of kuuza, I've never come such a close case. Unless now the manure. If you dry the manure well, na ndio maana unaona tuna separate manure na urine. Urine iende kwa shamba. Hii manure ukiwa na uwanja, uiweke mahali ukaushe. Hata unaweza uza 10 tons per once, juu unaweza iweka kwa lori na ibebeke bila kudisturb watu kwa barabara kama ile ya Masai. Lakini ikiwa hivi na maji, huwezi beba on highway. Juu ya nema unaharibu mazingira and everything. So kama wewe ni mkulima na uko na uwanja, kausha hii, uzia wakulima wengine. It will still help you on saving cost of production. Yes.
Okay. So finally, your parting shot to farmers. What do you think farmers usually do wrong when it comes to having dairy cows, and what would be your encouragement to the farmers going forward in order for them to have good yields and nutritive milk at the end of the day?
First of all, farmers fail in one thing. When it comes to production, farmers have, what do I say, wako na wivu kupatia ng'ombe. And in dairy farming we say it is garbage in, garbage out. If you give less, you get less. If you give more, you get more. So, kama uko na ng'ombe wazuri, kuja kwa farm, tukufundishe, unafaa kulisha ng'ombe wako aje, unafaa kumpimia aje majani, unafaa kumpimia aje dairy meal, maize jam, chumvi, maji and everything. Ndio ng'ombe wako, hata kama ni breed mzuri acha kutoa maziwa less. Juu unapataga, you get a dairy farmer, ako na ng'ombe mzuri sana. But the mode of feeding Yeye ana feed majani mingi or maybe silage mingi ama nepia mingi ng'ombe ishibe tumbo. Na silage iko na very raw crude protein. Protein ndio inasaidia ng'ombe itoe maziwa mingi. Sasa unapata nepia iko na percentage iko chini sana ya crude protein. Sasa ng'ombe wako ukimlisha na nepia tupu bila chakula in a day scientifically haiwezi pitisha 5 liters. Sasa wewe unasemaga mimi ng'ombe wako wetu hawatoagi maziwa. Lakini ni vile hujapata formula mzuri ya kulisha. Kuja upate formula ya kukulisha ng'ombe wako, ni kuambia unafaa kupea ng'ombe wako kiwango gani ya dairy meal, ni kuambia unafaa kumpea kiwango gani ya maize germ, ni kuambia unafaa kumpatia kiwango gani ya mineral salt, maji, comfort and hygiene. Juu ng'ombe akiwa na hizo, hata mchawi akuwe na nguvu aje hawezi muweza. So make sure your cow has very good feeding program, very good hygiene and very good comfort and unlimited water. Hizo ndizo vitu ng'ombe anahitaji. Thirdly, kama uko kwa hewa joto sana ama baridi sana, at least have an air conditioner. Like kama uko Mombasa, si lazima ununue ile ya stima, you can just put on zenye tunaonaga kwa warehouses zenye hazitumii stima. Ng'ombe wako tu apate a very good breeze. Unaweza tumia sprinklers za maji, sometimes joto ikiwa juu sana zina sprinkle ng'ombe to cool down the climate. So unaelewa? So tunaambia mtu kuja kwa farm usome vile unafaa kulisha ng'ombe wako, uache kuanguka kwa production na uko na ng'ombe breed mzuri. Secondly, kama breed yako iko chini, maybe haitoi, yani hata wewe unaona you have a very local breed, come in the farm, I will show you where to start. I will show you how to change that breed. I will show you how to breed that breed to a pedigree breed. Kama wewe unataka kubreed, kama wewe unataka kununua, I will show you how to go through that.
Okay.
Yes.
Alright, today we were learning about dairy farming. We've looked at what it takes in order for you to make sure that at least at the end of the day, you have the best value of milk. My name is Calvin Yakuni. Remember, every Tuesday we take you through the process from the farm to the plate. Actually, it's the same place right here on KTN Farm Kenya.
Kuwa na uhakika sasa, kukulea stakabali wa baadaye. Tufanye kazi pamoja na tukue pamoja kuimarisha Kenya.